What's going on, everyone? Today we get to talk about cars again. Here with me is Fargini, Pedro. My wife is somewhere off camera.
Lurking
I'm Alejandro.
in the shadows.
I'm Alejandro, and let's talk about cars here, shall we? Hit it, Pedro. What happened to the gong?
I couldn't reach it. I didn't
This
want to.
is
And where's
why-
the thing? Where's the thing? Oh,
It's
it's
right
on
there. I didn't want to knock my tea
This is
over. I
why
got so
we-
much
oh, wait.
happening.
This is why we brought the gong to the studio.
Wait, do we not have the technology to do a gong? And then
I don't
cut
think
that?
we have. Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
All right.
It's
I
non-existent.
see we're doing linear editing here.
Well, it's a low-budget show.
That's an understatement.
How you doing, guys? Good?
Good. My mic is a little limp over here.
Not only your mic.
Pedro, you
Hey,
might want
take
to
it
you might
easy.
want to keep that stuff to yourself.
Yeah.
This is
Don't bring your family problems.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for bringing my personal life into this. I really appreciate it. So today we got a jam-packed schedule full of stuff that we need to do, and I want to warm us up, get us talking about some things that we like, some things that we don't.
Let me stretch.
But, you ready? You ready to stretch it out? Yeah. Farshad,
you're
you're
stretching-
you're gonna have to stretch more than that.
I know, I can't.
You literally just
I know,
flexed yourself. And
That's how you stretch, Farshad?
My question was,
No one's seeing this,
how
by the way.
How does one stretch for a podcast?
Just trust me, I did
Okay,
it.
all right. I will try.
That actually sounds like a good segment we can put up for the premium subscribers. How to stretch for a podcast.
Right?
But first thing I want to talk about is a dream car. Basically, a car that you must have, like a car that you want so badly that you would give up all of your other cars to have it, and so that it fulfills your needs. What would that be? Like, what would that car be for you?
Hang on, are you talking about like a regular everyday we get to use that car, or can it be hypercar
No,
sports cars?
no hypercar, collector car type of thing. Like the car that you must have to fulfill your everyday needs. Like
Everyday needs
Do you want to
one
put
car.
a price
Everyday
cap? Do
needs.
you want to put a price cap on it? Or
no, it does have to be a price cap.
Why don't you start and tell us so that we can get an idea?
Yeah.
Okay, my dream car, the car that I need so badly that it will fulfill my everyday needs.
Don't you
everything.
fucking say
I'm
a
going here.
488.
No, it's not a 488. It's not a 488, but it is a Ferrari.
Oh, of course,
It's a-
it's a Ferrari.
It's a Ferrari GTC4 Lusso.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
It
a
will
daily.
fulfill, yes, it's a daily. It will fulfill every single bit of my needs. I can put a car seat in the back. I can enjoy the luxury, the comfortability. I can enjoy the speed, like the agility that thing has. I can't wait.
I love that no one knows this, but this man right here actually spec'd a fucking car. Good
amount of time.
He
Good amount of
spent
time.
like all day yesterday just on the computer, Ferrari thing, spec'ing your Lusso.
I did.
He would show us the
Military
progress,
grade.
every progress.
He showed
along
us the
way.
progress of everything, and then we're like, all right, what's your spec, how much your spec came out to be? And he goes, no, they don't tell you. You
They,
need to call-
they didn't tell me in my spec configurator, and they said that Ferrari of Los Angeles would reach out to me. And
Oh my God.
Oh, no, here we go.
So I've been emailing this morning with Ferrari trying to get a price, and they said, oh, well, they don't actually send the spec that you submit to us, so I have no idea, but you can come in and talk to us, and we'll figure it out.
Then why the hell do you spec the car at your house?
It is frustrating. I'll be honest. Like, I wish that it was like Tesla, where I could just go and spec it and get it delivered and ordered right in one spot.
All the way to the end, I agree, but at least just spec the car and be able to see what the heck, like how much money am I spending into this? Because you got to make some sacrifices
Yeah,
on
of
your
course.
spec.
I think the base is like 330 on the GTC4 Lusso. I'm pretty sure my spec is in the 410 to 420 range.
420.
Yeah,
Wow.
I included all the bells and whistles.
Holy
Yeah,
shit!
I went
Look at
for
this
it.
Ferrari
I
collector.
went for it.
You're really going for
Wait,
this whole Ferrari collector thing.
Don't we have a topic later about depreciating?
We'll talk, we'll talk
Hey,
about
we
that
do-
later. What about yours?
Mine's gonna be a little bit more realistic.
Okay.
I'm just factoring in everything that's going on in my life. Okay.
God.
And all the factors that are taking money out of my life. So I'm gonna go with this is what I'm gonna go with. Okay. I'm gonna go with a Mercedes-Benz C63S Cabriolet. I am obsessed with that car.
You really fucking
I
are.
love that car. So this is how it will meet my...
Not an S65,
Nope.
not a Maybach.
Nope,
You're
nope.
going for a
Yeah.
C63 S Cabrio.
Yeah.
Why?
I am... Okay, so...
Why?
The pops. And it's convertible.
Okay.
It's convertible, so that means my ears are closest to the pops.
This is
Okay.
true. This is
Okay.
true.
Okay.
My daughter loves, she calls it cars with no roofs. So
Okay.
that will fulfill that. They're more than fast enough for what I need for 0 to 12 miles an hour in traffic.
What's faster, the 0 to 12 or the depreciation on your car?
I don't think you can talk about depreciation.
Yeah, but you can't drag me through the mud on depreciation
Pedro,
and
this is
get
what
a
happens.
Mercedes
This
as well.
Pedro, this is what happens to that car. Okay, it goes from like 100 to like 70 or 60. Right?
Yeah, no. So year one, the rule of every single car for depreciation is 30%. The moment you drive it off the lot,
30 grand off. We're at year one.
100 grand, you're 30 grand. Like you can sell it day one or you can sell it last day of the year.
Yeah.
You lost 30 grand.
Yeah.
Pedro, you, my friend.
That is like
you, my friend, my dear Pedro. When you go to a Ferrari dealership, and this is the advice that I was giving you about your car, you do not go and spec your Lusso or an FF to a Ferrari dealership. And the reason is simple. The moment you receive your $420,000 car, it's worth $320,000
instantly.
That amount of depreciation is just obscene. And then you want like a special flary color, right? And we're only talking about the U.S. market because hatchbacks in the U.S. do extremely shitty.
Yep.
So the moment you get your military green one, you're probably looking at 300. So you lost $120,000, $150,000.
Day one, but
just
day
from speccing the car.
day
when
one.
you can just go to Ferrari, show up to a dealership, and they're going to tell you, we cannot sell you a 488, but what we can do is do you a favor here, and we'll put you in a Lusso for $100,000 off. I guarantee the car maybe is fresh right now, so maybe not. But you just wait a year after the release. That's the rule at every Ferrari
Pedro,
dealership.
can we do this?
Here's the thing. I would be getting exactly the car that I want. Exactly the car that I want. You guys asked me what my dream car is, the car that I could not live without that I want.
We're just saying depreciation-wise. You're burning Farghini.
Yeah. Pedro, can I ask you for a favor, Pedro? Why don't we do this? Can you just wait 1 year? Okay, just take it easy on the spec a little bit. Buy one for 120 off, and then use that 120 to get me the C63, and you'll save 20 grand. And you'll save 20 grand.
And Farshad will put up the depreciation money for the S63, for the C63.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but sure.
30 grand. You'll put in 30 grand to buy
No, not really, but yeah, sure. Let's go. Let's do it. What do you think?
What about you? What about you?
Mine is simple, and it's gonna get a lot of flag, a lot of shit from people. Obviously, the new Panamera Turbo.
No,
that's new Panamera Turbo.
I think that's a great one.
Solid.
I don't need more than that for every day. You get like the PDK transmission, which I love,
which is the greatest.
All-wheel drive from Porsche. You get that turbo engine, right, which is humongous. You know that thing is going to accelerate from 0 to 17 miles an hour.
You have to get the executive edition, obviously.
I don't know if I would get the long one because I drive myself everythir except when.
Where are we gonna sit?
Yeah,
Jeez, what do you think? Why are you not thinking of us? Every car we picked was
I'm actually gonna make it a coupe now that I think about it. The Panamera, and also I understand the depreciation that comes with this car too.
The depreciation, is that what you said?
Of course, every single time you buy one of these Panamera Turbos or a Cayenne Turbo or any of the turbo cars, depreciation is a big factor in those. But you get all the bells and whistles, and you get everything from Porsche. And it's a brand new car, and he's got all the new screens.
And that wing in the back.
Yeah,
everything in the back.
It's a beautiful car.
Everything about it. Yeah. So yes, I beat you too. Anyways, so go on, Pedro.
Well, I think that this is a great conversation starter to go into our first topic, and that's leasing versus financing.
Ooh.
So off the bat, your C63S.
Actually, yeah, let's talk about this. So
hang on. The reason why we wanted to bring this up is because a lot of people outside of the United States don't have the ability to lease a car. And believe it or not, in some places you can barely finance cars. In Mexico, not that long ago, a couple years ago, I remember a friend of mine was buying a car, and I said, "Why don't you just finance it?" And he said, "It's ridiculous. The rates are between 8 and 12%." And I said, "So you don't have good credit?" And I forgot that there's not a good credit system in place in every single country. So in the United States, we have two ways of financing a car. You cannot call it financing, but it is. One is financing, which is your regular financing, the one where you borrow $100,000, you pay 5% interest, and then at the end of that, you pay for the whole $100,000.
5% interest. What kind of credit do you have?
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. And then you have the leasing. Leasing is kind of financing, but in another way. You're kind of renting the car in a very dumb way. I'm putting this, obviously. The company will buy the car and they'll rent it to you directly. So that's leasing. In leasing, the way I like to look at how finances are structured is when you're leasing a car, you're paying for depreciation in payments. That's all you're taking care of. So the cars that you want to lease are mostly the ones that have an incredible amount of depreciation, like the Rolls Royces, like the Shit.
Like all three of the cars we just picked.
Like any of the cars we like. Any car we like.
Because all you're paying for is the depreciation.
And a little bit of a slight amount of rent on top of that. It's like a small amount.
Obviously, they got to make money on it, right?
Yeah.
So you pay for depreciation and obviously an amount of interest that you're paying to those guys. So that's how they make their money. The thing is, you're not paying for the full thing. So if you're buying a $120,000 car, you'll see why I'm making it like that. And you're going to finance it for, say, just 1 year. You're going to make $10,000 payments every month, right? Mm-hmm. But if you lease that $120,000 car and you want to lease it, your payment's going to be way lower. So it's always good to get both options out. I recommend leasing when it comes to cars that have programs, not just because at the end of the day, when you're leasing financing, you're going to be upside down in your car at the same level. Yeah. But there are tricks to it, right? So when I recommend leasing a car is whenever there's programs. If you go to Mercedes and you want to lease a C63 AMG, it's going to be equally as bad as the payment on finance. So of course. At that point, you decide what's going to be better for you. Do you need the write-off or do you not? And whatever. Rolls-Royce, for example, you can get not a Phantom, you can get a Ghost for like $3,000 a month. Not a lot of people know that, but that's a lease.
Or another way to look at it is like let's say it's a $300,000 to $400,000 car that you can get for $3,000, where you go to Mercedes and you get a $200,000 car for the same price.
No, for $3,500 a month.
For
so it's more because you're financing. So leasing is way better for when you can find deals. And a lot of people say, so what's better when you buy an expensive car? Should I lease it, like say a 918? Should I lease it or should I finance it? So the question is very personal. Either way, you're going to do a lease that has a payout at the end. Because either way, you're going to end up doing a full payment to whoever owns the car, right? So if you're leasing a 918, for example, which I can't imagine the payment of that. It's like $30,000, I think,
at least,
right?
Yeah.
Evan, no, because Evan was offering that for like, remember?
He's like, yeah, we were looking at that. He was
like
offering leasing
$30,000.
or financing. You know, and if you leased the 918, you would be paying just under the value of the car by the end of your lease payments compared to the financing.
Right. Yeah, but hang on. But a lot of people are saying, so what's better for me if I want to lease or buy or finance the car? It doesn't really matter because the car's going to appreciate or at least stay within the same price range, right? You're not going to lose a lot of money. So whether you're leasing or financing, just look at your payments and look at how much money you'll have left at the end of it. Or, for example, if you're buying the car and say, I'm going to get rid of it in 6 months, do the math as to how much money you're going to pay for those 6 months, then do the math of how much is going to be owed at that point and see where you stand on both. So leasing is very appealing to me because also not a lot of your information goes around and stays on the car. So whenever someone looks up the plate, whatever, the guy who rented you the car, the guy who leased you the car, the company, will be the one that comes up on that. I like that. It's easier, and I honestly just go leasing. I always go into a lease when the deal makes sense. Right. Rolls Royces, all of that. I personally buy cash, which is really stupid and should not do my expensive cars, the ones that appreciate. But I should not be doing that because it's just tying up cash.
Actually, that brings up another thing between leasing and purchasing a car. So if you want to purchase a car, you're going to have to put anywhere between 10 to 20% down, right?
Yeah.
With a lease, if you do it properly, you just have to do what's called drive off, which is tax, license, registration, and maybe like a first month's.
Sometimes they'll let you finance the car and not pay anything up front.
Okay.
They have programs like that.
Most common
like
cars. So another way to look at this is, am I going to put 30, 40 grand of my cash into a depreciating asset that depreciates from day one, or am I going to lease this thing, keep my 40 grand, make money with my 40 grand?
Exactly.
Right. The other important thing is tax. So there are write-offs when you lease a vehicle that you can't do when you purchase or finance the car.
Yeah. So it depends all of on your personal situation. But for the most part, this is a question to answer to those who are outside of the U.S. Leasing a car, it's renting it and paying for the depreciation on those payments. Financing a car is just financing the whole amount of the car and paying for the full car plus interest.
And the other thing about leasing is you also get your service taken care of, any maintenance that you have with the car, that's all covered and under the leasing, the leasing plan. So,
can I just say that we're just going to discuss this for probably one of the last times because leasing will be the second and now the third option will be a fleet deal like the Cadillac one.
Oh, that's actually really
yeah. I am so into that because you're leasing their inventory, not just one car. I like that.
I love that, and I think a lot of manufacturers are going to get into
this. I like that. So Farshad, are you a lease man? Finance man?
Lease man for sure.
I love
unless I know it's an appreciating asset. Car, But then you just go and finance it, and you just make the payments until you flip it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But leasing is the best way to go. And can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I hate when people go, I hate leasing because you own nothing at the end.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you want to own nothing at the end, or do you want to own an asset that's depreciating every single day?
Of course, and it's always a matter of like if you're financing the car or you're leasing it. Either way, most likely that's a depreciating car.
Yeah, of course.
So you're going to end up with
and
nothing.
The other thing
you're
is
when you
own the car when it's off warranty, like you don't want to be in that zone.
No,
that's
no,
why
no,
with
no,
a
no,
lease,
no.
like you were saying, Pedro, is like the lease is done, the warranty's done. Boop, I'm on to the next car. I don't
Exactly.
have to spend $1 on repairs.
What about you, Pedro?
I'm a lease man all the way. I've been a lease man since 2009. So 2009, I've been leasing cars, and I won't go back. It's my favorite thing to do, because I'm constantly rolling into something new, rolling into something new. I was raised to own. That's exactly the way my philosophy or my parents' philosophy from the South is, and that's also how my wife's parents' philosophy is that you own. This is your asset. These are the things that you have to fall back on in case something goes wrong. But what's the problem is you're putting money into something that isn't worth at that moment in time what you're actually paying. So
And it's not generating income.
It's not. It's not generating income, but it's not about the generating income. It's about the having something to fall back on in case things go awry.
But that's why I'm saying there's nothing to fall
Yep.
back on because it's depreciating. It's not
Yep.
giving you an income. It's definitely not
Of course.
a smart purchase.
And the worst scenario you want to be in is you're 2 years into this finance, and you get into an accident. The car is totaled. Now you have to have an argument with your insurance company of what they think it's worth, what you think it's worth.
Yeah.
You can in fact be even more underwater.
Well, because the leasing company, at least the other side, the guy who owns the car will sue to get all the money.
And also there's gap
Sometimes.
insurance on leases, which covers the difference between.
Of course.
So
And here's also the other perception is because our parents, the way that they were raised, as far as owning cars, leasing really wasn't much of an option, if an option at all,
and a horrible option.
So that's all they knew, and the way that it affected the market when leasing became available. More and more cars started flooding the market. More and more cars started flooding the market. So people that actually own cars and finance their cars, that's when cars started taking a dip in the depreciation. Before that, when it was just only owning and financing the cars, just buying cash, they weren't depreciating as much because you didn't have this many options for purchasing cars.
And cars weren't being flipped.
Also, there was not as many cars as there is
the
right
volume,
now.
the volume.
It's insane how many different models are out there now for every single car. I mean, how many car companies are out there? It's insane, right?
Yeah.
So I follow your mentality, and also coming from a country like Mexico where financing is really hard and rare. You buy everything cash at least it was from all the time I was growing up there. You cannot buy a car just by, I'm going to finance the car. Whatever car you're buying, you're paying for the full enchilada.
Is that why we always cash you outside?
That's why you always cash me outside, you dickwad.
Moving into the next topic, we are just under a month from Geneva Auto Show. We went to Geneva last year. It was an amazing experience. There was a lot of cars we saw. We saw the Regera. We saw the Wyra BC.
Yep.
We saw
the Panchetta or whatever
the
that's.
Centenario.
The Centenario.
The Levante came out last year.
It did.
The
We saw it from
DB11.
afar.
Yeah, the Levante, the DB11. There was a lot that was unveiled, but there wasn't anything that tickled my pickle.
Nothing was too crazy. To be
No.
honest with you, nothing was revealed on that show that I remember that was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
They had the Centenario, which was that the reveal of the Centenario, or was that the reveal of the Centenario Roadster?
No, the Centenario Roadster
the
was
regular
in
one,
Monterey.
because they skipped the SV because they didn't want to put the two cars together because on paper they sounded the same.
They knew. They knew.
They knew.
But the Centenario Roadster, we saw that one in Monterey. That's when they unveiled it there. But this
Right.
year in Geneva, holy crap, you guys, we have a plethora of cars that is going to just set the auto world on fire when it drops.
A lot of metal, high-end
Yes,
metal coming
yes.
out.
A
and
lot
I'm
of
excited.
depreciation coming out.
A lot of depreciation.
I mean, you have never seen depreciation like this before, right?
So I'm just gonna list off a bunch of cars.
go.
A lot of cars that we're expecting: hypercars, supercars, SUVs, and we'll start talking about them.
Let's go.
What's our favorite and what's not?
Let's go.
So
Hit it,
some of the
baby.
things that we're expecting is we're expecting to maybe see some more of the Mercedes hypercar,
No, not just some more.
the actual one, right?
So
we're gonna see it?
I'm not
I
entirely sure.
haven't seen a news release yet on this.
This is what I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to release it publicly, but they're definitely having a showing there for the customers that are
like a
getting
private-
the car. And I don't know if they're showing the car, or if they're showing like pictures, renders. It can be anything.
And I know some douche who just got one. Total tool. The guy's a total tool, but good for him.
I understand.
We also have the Aston Martin Red Bull Nebula, the AMRB 001.
Finally.
Yes. So we're not going to see that plastic kind of rendered toy that they've been shipping around.
Yeah. No. So finally, it's supposed to be the real deal. I'm sure the engine's not there and some others. It's not going to be.
So
a
it's the
working
real
chassis.
deal, but not the real deal.
It's going to be the real deal as far as the shell goes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they're going to have that shell made according to whatever engine they spec'd. So it's going to be very close.
Yeah, we
Kinda
should
like
see
when
the
P1
final
came out.
outside of it.
Yeah. It's going to be. It's going to be awesome. Wasn't that supposed to premiere in Toronto?
I think so.
I don't know why they would take it to Toronto to premiere and then just like, there's Geneva.
I have no idea. I have no idea why Toronto.
Seems like a humongous missed opportunity, but also they could be paying or something. You never know what it is. I am very excited about this car. These two, the hypercar from Mercedes and their Aston Martin Red Bull car, are supposed to be something from a completely different world.
Have you seen renderings of people doing the Mercedes?
Oh
online?
my!
If it looks like that, wow!
I think it's gonna look better because Mercedes has been nailing those designs.
Yeah.
And the thing with Aston is Aston has always been able to make beautiful cars. Red Bull is incredible in Formula One.
Yeah, they make great drinks, right?
And they make
They do.
Pedro's a huge fan.
We just never know who's going to control what in the car and how's that going to go.
Well, the cup holders for sure Red Bull are going to have to take care
I
of,
hope
right?
so.
Do you
I've
not
said
agree?
that. I have said that before. I was the first one in the world.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this on record. First one in the world to say that the Red Bull car should come with Red Bull size cup holders.
Do you think it'll have that? Do you think it'll
It
have that?
has to.
It
has to. There is no
Alejandro.
other car
Alejandro.
in the world that fits actual Red Bull cans.
They
That
Have
are
you guys
wobble in
seen
there.
how that car is cut? And all the air vents and everything, there's not going to be space for you to fart in that car.
They have to have a sense of humor and put in a Red Bull cup holder. Come on, they have
at least
to have
the
I would love
option.
that. I would love that, but I just don't think it'll even have cup holders, to be honest with you
It
guys.
has to. I think that's a mandate. For Americans? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Super size options
Yeah,
too for
yeah,
the
of course.
Midwest.
All right.
So the other car that we're gonna see is the Pagani Huayra Roadster.
That car is something that I've been excited for a very, very, very long time.
Yes.
Ever since I've seen the renders already. So not last Monterey, the year before, I think Horatio was. I don't think he was showing that, and he was taking pre-orders, and the car was at 1.7 million. What really excited me about that car at that point was they were going to use the new carbon fiber technology that they developed, which is the lighter, stronger, which means stiffer chassis.
That's what she said.
And you could use that extra stiffness, right?
I can always use the extra stiffness. So we'll go stiffer chassis, better for track driving, better for everyday driving. It's going to have the new clutch that they're putting in the BC. All the new BC technology is going to go into this car, but it's not going to cost as much as a BC. So the question is, would you rather buy that or the BC? Now, the problem is everyone is speculating about the gull-wing doors.
Yeah,
and the
explain
doors that go
can you
up.
explain to me what is the story with that?
Back in the day when the car was presented to me, not to us, to everyone, because I'm sure everything changed. I don't know what's changed or not. The last I heard was the car went up in price because they always do that. And they never got to convince Horatio to put the doors to go up. I think Horatio wants the doors to open regularly.
Is it like a butterfly door that Fisker's
No,
gonna do?
no.
But how do you have a butterfly door in a convertible?
No, you can put it on the pillars right here, on your A pillars.
So it would just open up like it's
Like in the McLaren, dude. The LT, the SLR, they all have it. So Horatio doesn't want to copy those guys. He said, I'm an original man. I don't copy those.
So are we going to see a brand new way of opening the door?
No, it's
just open the door, guys. It's just a door. We just want to get in the
He's
car.
just going to open the door.
If he's able to figure out how the doors can open like the doors open on the actual Huayra, if he can replicate that in a roadster version somehow,
It's impossible.
Impossible. You need to
and
have
that's,
something.
and that's why
build
we
like a
continue to
ring.
ask this question. But
Right.
we're on this topic because
Right.
we do want to see it.
Right,
we want to
right, right.
see that happen because it would look fucking awesome.
Every Pagani guy, everyone ordering those cars, guarantee you they all want those fucking doors to go up. I've heard it from all the guys directly.
But here's the problem.
Myself, when I wanted one, I wanted the doors to go up, and they just don't want to make it like that.
But the problem is if everyone wants the doors to go up, he's going to have to do that.
This is why I'm saying where I left off,
Yeah.
he was very against it. I don't know if they changed their mind or not. but
Well, that's what everybody's hoping to see.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people are asking questions. Is that what's going to happen when the car is unveiled at Geneva? So
fingers crossed, because I'd love to see that.
Yeah, me too.
Right? That'd be
me too.
And hopefully they work. And hopefully they work.
We also have the McLaren 720S. Going to see that. I think we've already seen a lot of that. We're excited about it. We don't have to touch much on the 720S.
I just want to see it.
Yeah,
I just want to see it.
First of all, I think it's called the P14 because my new friend is going to the premiere of it, and he said it's the P14.
No. That's the denomination of the car. It's definitely the 720S.
720S.
I guess I'll know when I go to the premiere.
Oh,
enjoy.
So Farshad's going to be
I just
going.
understand.
Yeah. So you're going to be joining
My
our
new
friend, in the premiere.
In the premiere, and it's up in Hollywood somewhere on the 22nd.
That's exciting, dude. That's almost there.
Yep.
Wow,
So you'll tell us how that is.
They'll have to
actually, I
turn
won't.
that car around quick. The 22nd and then get it to Geneva.
Are you kidding? It's McLaren.
How long do they have to drive? How long of a drive is that?
That's a long drive.
I think it's at least 6 hours. If I know my geography correctly, which I do.
Hey, by the way, I'm telling you this right now. I'm not giving you any information on that car because I'm being invited to a super secret.
You see, guys, this is why we can't have Farshad show up anywhere or go anywhere without us, because then we don't know anything. He'll embarrass ourselves.
I'm just trying to maintain not embarrassing our guest and myself at the place and not getting kicked out. I'm just literally going to just stand there and not get kicked out.
Farshad's going to say 3 words.
I can't wait. I'm really excited about this car. I'm dying to see it.
Yeah. Then we also have the Ferrari F12M. I think that's going to be exciting.
That, my friend, you should be really excited
really excited about
that. That is my favorite car in Ferrari's lineup. I've said it a million times, from the 599, which I loved. I had one. I loved it. I never had an F12. I've driven one.
Can we get GIs? Doesn't GI have a F12?
Do they have one? I think
they have an
I've
F12.
driven an F12 when they first came out, also the FF. But the F12 was my favorite line. And then the new one is supposed to be, because what's the hardcore version of the F12? I don't know why I'm blacking out.
F12 TDF.
The TDF. This is supposed to be as hardcore as a TDF, but like you can use it every single day and it'll be civilized. And they're saying it's going to be, again, a naturally aspirated V12 engine.
That's the LaFerrari V12 that they put in that,
Yep.
right?
The
So they always
6.3 V12, 800 horsepower. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just watched Jeremy Clarkson do a review on it like a year ago or something,
Yeah.
and he was like, "This
Too
is
much
too
power.
much power. Like you don't need this much power."
No. And now that's the problem with horsepower.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
yeah.
why they're saying that they're going to make this a more hardcore, aerodynamic,
Yeah, right.
yet more composed version of the TDF.
That'll hopefully run.
Which, listen, if the car really comes through and they deliver on those promises, that's a formula for winning, because you have a hardcore car, you have a very subtle for everyday driving, and you can use it every single day.
Naturally aspirated.
Oh,
Should sound great.
It should sound incredible. No,
Should sound
not
like a
great.
monster.
Other level. Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Then we have a GT3 refresher. It's just going to go up to the .2. It's
We've
gonna-
talked about it a million times. I'm very excited about it. A lot of people are discrediting the fact that this is going to be this is coming out in a manual and an automatic. So everyone's like, oh, it totally ruined the value of the R. It will not, because we've driven the GT3 RS, which is more hardcore than that, and they're not raw like the R. It's a different experience. I'm excited about the GT3, however, though. It's got more power. It's a 4.0 liter engine, a brand new engine. It's not the same one as the RS or the R, and a little bit more power.
And then Lamborghini.
Lamborghini pig.
I think that they're going to take that big stage like they did last year. They're going to keep that whole floor, and then they have the Huracan Performante,
Yep.
the Aventador S.
Can I just take a quick break here and tell you guys? I saw that Auto Express review on the Aventador S.
Yep.
It fucking looks epic. I fell for it.
It's badass.
I fell for it. I 100% fell for it. I am dying to drive the car. I want to see if everything he's saying really translates into the car for real, not bullshit. The pop-pops from the car sounds like a V12 with a lot of pop-pops, Farshad. Oh, and it looks obviously Lamborghini insane. Yeah. Will it be everyday drivable?
Is this
I
like
don't
the refinement of the
Now,
Aventador?
but this is what I don't understand. Is this a brand new car, or is this a fucking
heavily revised
car? Because by the sounds of it, it sounds like it's a brand new car. Last time they did the SV, the new Aventador came out. And now this Aventador S sounds like the same. This sounds like the 488 to the 458.
Correct.
A lot of people think it's the same car, but it's not. And I'm wondering if this is going to be the same thing. If Lamborghini doesn't want to say, because Lamborghini used to keep the line for 10 years, right? that was their thing. Right now, with the competition, I think it's impossible to keep those lines for 10 years. So what is Lamborghini going to do? Are they really going to wait the 10 years, or are they now like releasing this without telling anyone, hey,
It's a brand new.
this is a brand new car, but we'll call it a refresher.
So will the SV version be called the SSV?
But this is no, for real. This is what I'm getting at. They should have an SV version of this car because they're planning on keeping this car for another 5 years.
Yes, we did talk about that.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to drive the car. It looks insane, sounds insane. It seems to be like that it's going to drive equally as good. I'm just dying to see it.
Speaking of depreciation, what do you think when these come out, the S's? What are they going to do to the
Dude,
other Aventadors?
They are going to destroy. Because, listen, it's the same horsepower almost as the SV, right?
Yeah.
And now everything that they fixed was suspension, gearbox, aero,
Pops.
all that stuff. So they fixed the important things to make a car quicker, not just adding horsepower. This is why it's interesting to me for the first time in the Aventador to drive one. Mind you.
Unfortunately, you just can't look at the Aventador now as an investment. You can't look.
Could you ever?
No Lamborghini.
No, you can't just because there's so many. I mean, obviously, like if you're a new supercar buyer, you're coming into this, the first thing that you're going to think of is a Lamborghini.
The first one you go is Ferrari.
And we see that with our own eyes.
Yes.
I was one of those guys.
Yeah, so that's what's going to happen. But the SV, I think, will hold up. The SV will hold up when the S comes out. May take a little dip, but it's going to hold up. It's a great car.
Well, hang on. The SV already took a dip.
Yeah, but it's not going to bottom out any further unless they get that SSV or whatever we're talking about.
Wait, do you think they're all going to take a huge hit?
I think the SV is going to take another hit. Like a
giant dump?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Listen, it's all... I'm now seeing like a new trend. And all these cars used to be... Ask Jay Leno. He'll buy cars and get him empty. He doesn't care about the spec because he just wants to drive the car and have the car. So he doesn't have to spec them. And back in the day, you used to spec the cars like that, and you were able to sell them for whatever you wanted because they went up in value. Right now, what people are buying into are like crazy spec cars. You've noticed that.
Of
I mean,
course.
we saw it. Just sold my 918. That went out quick. We had several offers at the same time, too. And the same guy who bought the 918 immediately turned around and said, I'm also very interested in your LT. It's like, no, it's not for sale. We can get you another one. And he said, not interested in another one. I want that spec.
Wait.
I'm not selling my LT.
The one that at RDB right now, or the other one?
No, the other.
Okay. I just want to make sure which one we're talking about.
No. We're talking about the other one.
Okay.
And I'm
The one at RDB is more off limits than this one.
That's a one of one.
Do not touch that. The RDB SO.
Hey, I have a feeling they're never going to give that back to us.
No.
We got to go repo that. We got to go and repo it.
We'll take a mini flatbed. What was I saying?
I don't know. Either way, Lamborghini's going to be putting on a big show, and we're even forgetting about the most important one that they're going to have center stage, and that's their Urus. Spy shots are everywhere. It's going all around the country.
Will
Norway,
it be there
Sweden,
for sure, though?
Denmark.
I feel like it's
going to be there.
I feel like because if you don't do Geneva, what's the next big
Paris. But that's until September.
but it's already going to be in pre-production in April, so we're going to see it at Geneva.
Well,
I think so too. I just haven't seen confirmation.
I feel like it's time.
Yeah, and they're premiering like very
spy
shortly.
videos with these spy videos and stuff.
Spy videos are everywhere. I like that it looks like a Huracan on the back.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful line.
It is
right?
nice. Yeah. It is nice. But I really like what Lamborghini's doing. I think that they're going to steal the show where it was really a dud last year.
It really was.
It was a giant dud.
I hated it.
They're also, on top of this, the Huracan Performante, they're going to release the ring time. You know, obviously you take it what it is, but that's where they're gonna announce their ring time at Geneva. So
I cannot wait to laugh that. Yeah, we'll see about that. But I think it's about that time when those cars are supposed to get faster. So fingers crossed. I'm excited about the SUV, but I also am skeptical because women have this image of someone driving a Lamborghini of being a tool, a douchebag. So I don't know if women will be like, yeah, let me buy into the SUV, which is what will open up their market, right?
Right.
For the most part, I'm generalizing, obviously.
Yep.
I think it'll do well with some women, but I think overall the strategy, if they think that the women are going to jump in, I think it's going to be
It's a hard sell, right?
Really hard sell.
Like you own a Lamborghini, being a like.
Yeah. But I could also see it just skyrocketing, also, which is like, mommy, can we let's take a Lamborghini?
Of course.
Here's the thing. They showed that concept sometime last year, right? The one that was like the crimson vino tinto color.
Beautiful.
It was too harsh. Way too many harsh lines. But seeing these spy shots now, it's got some Lamborghini to it, but it doesn't have those hard lines that we saw from the concept. And I think that they made that smart decision to make it a little easier for people to consume that car.
Do you think it'll be a lot of pop-ups in that truck? Because if they do add them...
I think that they'll have a sport exhaust option.
I think there'll be a button. Well, it'll go pop, 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 and then when she's like, "What is this pop, pop, pop?" Then you push the button and it goes away.
Nothing, baby.
Actually,
Don't worry about it.
Can we ask some of the ladies in the room what their thoughts are? Like they might not know much about the Lamborghini SUV.
We will
but
once.
just perception.
We will once we get there.
But here's the big kicker. Here's the big kicker. This Urus coming out. What is it gonna do to the Bentayga?
Make it disappear.
Yeah.
I hope. Again, Bentley. Women want a Bentley.
Yeah, that's.
I see that more. Like that's a more successful car. Yeah, the Bentley's gonna take a humongous shit if it hasn't already.
What do you think this will cost? What do you think these will cost?
They gotta cost no more than $300,000.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
You
the same.
can't do more than that.
Yeah.
It's getting ridiculous.
I think when they come out, we're gonna see every rapper, every music. I think they're just gonna go, and then.
No. You're not gonna see that happen until the Cullinan comes out.
Yep.
The Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
Yeah.
Which is another one. I think that we may see that at Geneva as well.
I don't think so. I think that's too far. When I talked to the Rolls guys, they were like, it's 2 years out.
By the way,
You really think so?
That's what they told me.
Pedro, I counted the grills on it. I think it's only 22.
It is only 22.
Yeah.
I went back and I zoomed in and I did
It's
my
the new
research.
generation. Of course he's going to have only 22.
22 slats.
Less is more now, Pedro. Less is more.
I disagree.
If you can get away with 22, you don't need 24.
You like the 24
I
from
disagree.
the Phantom?
Farshad, you're basically saying that Alejandro is more than you. Less is more.
Oh, come on. Come on.
He's more than half the man I am.
Oh, you sexist shit.
What was the
Can
thing?
I go now?
What was the thing you were
And then,
saying?
and hang on, and then my wife is going to come in and roast me? I don't
No,
like
expose
I don't like
you.
today.
Expose
I don't
You know
like
what?
Today.
I think that's a good time to go ahead and bring her in.
Oh my
I
God.
think we're already teed up
Babe.
and
Get over here.
roasting you.
Let's just finish this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Alejandro's wife, Belen, to the podcast.
Hey, baby.
This is a very, very special moment.
As she puts on her headphones. No pressure, babe. If you ruin this podcast, we're all ruined forever.
Hi,
That's
guys.
it.
She couldn't do any worse than what we're doing.
No, absolutely not.
We've already
Thank you
bottomed
for
out.
coming, babe. I know you don't like to
Having
be
me.
on camera too much, like on
No.
video. I understand. So thank you for this. Thank you for coming and roasting me. Also, it's not like I'm the one who asked her. She was like, how about I go out there and expose you?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity.
So do you guys have any questions for her or anything? How do you want this to go? Because I know how to trigger it.
What's a Balboni line?
Belen knows my Balboni line.
No.
If anyone knows
we
my
have to
Bal-
ask. We have to ask a couple of questions. So, what is the Balboni line?
Of the
I think I
asking
know. I think I
questions.
know. I think
Okay,
I know.
go. You start this off.
Oh
Pedro.
my God. Here we go. I need to get it all out right now. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to ask a very general question.
Please.
Starting
Hit
off.
me.
Did she just say hit me?
I'm
Hit it,
ready.
Pedro.
I'm ready.
What is it like living with this maniac?
Oh my God, babe. Tell him how much you love it.
Exhausting comes to mind.
Wait, what kind of exhaust? Like a car exhaust? Like a pop 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 exhaust? Like
What
that kind of
exhausting?
exhaust?
Exhausting as in loud,
Oh boy.
tiring,
Oh boy.
needy.
Oh boy. I am a very needy person.
Wait, are you describing a little baby?
No,
Or are you
I-
describing
yes,
Alejandro?
Farshad, yes. Actually.
So
I don't like this.
here's the big thing. In our office, we have a desk in the center of the room, and it is piled and piled and piled with papers and things everywhere.
Volcanoes and-
And I'm just wondering, does that end in the office, or does that actually?
No, it bleeds into our life. He's a squirrel. That's why that's why we call everywhere Alejandro goes, he leaves tiny little piles.
No.
Everywhere.
No.
Everywhere. He's also a mess. At least once a day, I get a text message saying, "Where are my keys? Where's my wallet? Have you seen my sunglasses? Where's the remote? I don't know where anything is."
Well, can I add to that? He does compile stuff, but he also does lose stuff, and it balances it out.
But he's not. He's losing. He's losing things that he needs on a daily basis.
And now he's losing our stuff too.
So, like a squirrel, he is a collector. We do know that.
Yes.
He does collect things.
I like
and
to
he puts-
pile things. You've seen when the garage goes out of control. It's because I have a problem, not because it's so cool.
But
it's a problem.
he's probably more like that squirrel from Ice Age, where he's running around frantically looking for something.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Hey, babe, I'm just a squirrel trying to get a
Sid,
nut.
you're Sid.
As I say, he's confused and upbeat.
I am confused and upbeat most of the time.
24/7.
For the So the commentary and being this is why I love the podcast so much, because when I try to talk to Belen this much, she tells me to stop the commentary and to just go do it somewhere
So
else.
much commentary.
That she's not my podcast machine, and I understand. So I'll leave the commentary out of it, babe. I'm sorry for all the commentary that I throw your way all the time.
Well, now I have commentary from Farshad too. Whenever.
Whenever.
So it's like double whammy.
So it's whenever we watch her shows on TV.
Yeah, I'm just trying to watch The Voice.
And
I
peace.
have so many questions.
So many.
And we have so many things to say about the contestants. This is our job. Farshad and I need to come up
No,
with
not
we
after
need
hours.
material.
No.
What do you mean after
You
hours?
don't
We
need
have
to-
no on and off hours, right?
Yeah.
We're always working. Hey, we're working over here.
Hey, Italian
An
accent.
Italian accent. Let's.
So how many accents does Alejandro do an evening?
It depends, but it could be multiple. Sometimes a country song inspires him, and he'll
boy.
start like.
Baby, lock them doors and turn.
But we also reach.
Hey.
Exactly.
But we also reach limits, and sometimes there's bans put on us for Italian voices.
Yeah.
For
There
example,
are.
Yes.
For example, there was a ban, and the ban got lifted on your birthday. And on your birthday, you were allowed. Actually, we were allowed to do Italian voices for the whole day, right?
Yes.
It was a
That was
great
an
birthday.
Yeah,
amazing-
you were allowed to do it for the whole day, but you didn't initiate that actual thing until like hour 6 in the evening.
Well,
Like
'cause
6
that's
p.m.
what-
in the
Working
evening?
over here.
We gotta do things.
Yeah.
We gotta do Italian accents elsewhere. So we were doing the Italian accents
So
elsewhere.
thank you for that day. That was
Yeah,
amazing.
You're
thank you. That was
welcome.
an excellent day, babe.
Only once a year.
So I think the big question that everybody's gonna want to know is Alejandro. He's like a old, like wild west kind of shoot from the hip car purchaser. Like he'll just buy anything when he sees it. Like the GLE 63. When he goes and buys cars, does he run these things by you, or does he just go and do it?
Now this is my Balboni line, because now you're trying.
Hey, the question
You can't set your
was
bubble.
directed to me. To answer your question, no. In the beginning, when we first started dating, it was a humongous problem in our relationship because he would like legit show up with a new car like every couple weeks, and I could not deal. Now it doesn't faze me because it's so regular, but
It's only been 9 years, so.
it's only been 9 long years. So no, but with the GLE, he was obviously pushing that on me. So that was an impulse buy. A lot of it, I would say.
You know
is
what?
impulse.
Hands down, the best car in the garage.
It all
Oh,
worked out. It worked
God.
out so well.
Yeah, he did.
Everything worked out.
That's
For
definitely
you guys, it's not the best
I think
car in the
that's the best
garage.
car in the garage, hands down. But I think not the most important. That was the most important question. I don't know what I'm saying. Another question that people are going to want is, what car was he driving when you guys met?
Oh boy.
You
Well-
are a dick.
I have news. We both were BMW
What?
owners when we met.
Hold up. Say that again, please.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I think there's been an error in the
No,
podcast. Someone
listen.
else has been
What's-
infiltrating
no,
it.
We both
Shh. What? Say that again, please.
we were both BMW drivers. Actually, Alejandro was a 2-time BMW owner. at the time.
Two-time?
Yes.
Okay,
You
I need to know.
two-timing son of
I
a
need to know
bitch.
what car. What were the cars?
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Well, I had a black 3 Series.
That's okay and understandable.
Listen, I was 23.
Yeah, we all
I
make
made
mistakes.
it. Her name was Beyonce,
Oh.
and Alejandro had also a 3 Series convertible with red leather,
Of course you did.
A 3
Of course you
Series?
did. Red leather.
and he had a 6 Series.
I had an M6.
Yeah, an
Wait, hold on,
M6.
hold on. The 3
Oh.
Series, was it a 328?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
You had a 328
Yes.
convertible with a red interior?
Yes.
I did. A
He
black
did.
3. Yeah, I thought he was so baller. It lasted like a month before I realized that it was just
Obviously.
way too girly.
Oh, that was girly. What about the red CLK that you had?
Whoa.
Man!
It was an
The red
SLK,
SLK,
baby.
yeah.
SLK, excuse
Yeah.
me.
Well,
You went from
You
a
know.
3 Series
I
convertible
did not
to
know
no,
him
no, no.
then.
I went
No,
from
he
an
didn't,
SLK.
but I did.
Oh, yeah.
I knew him then.
I went from the SLK to the 3 Series convertible. That was
Wow,
like
what
the
a great
that was,
upgrade.
that was the beginning of my rise in the car world.
he was
And then-
he was finding himself.
And then with you, I bought the first Ferrari and supercar I ever bought too.
Oh, I remember well. The 458 Spider.
No. The 430 Spider, the
Oh,
black one.
The 430 Spider.
Oh.
Yeah.
I loathed that car.
Really?
Yep.
Hated it.
Why did you hate it so much?
It was so loud that you were deaf.
It is a loud
by the
car.
time
Oh,
you
the
got
good
out
old
of the
days
car.
of Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The engine was like on top of you, and
That's a real Ferrari.
I also hated it because he bought it without like telling me. And
Was that the first purchase I ever did without telling you, and that's what started it?
I think that's what started it. The villas?
Yep. Yeah, because car first and then apartment.
So that was like a huge issue. I was like, I can't bring you home to my parents, like without telling me something.
You still can't take.
No, for real. She thought she was like, you're a drug dealer. There's 100%. No way you're making money.
I'll never forget. I was sitting on his orange leather couch that he owned, and I was.
Hey, I also financed that car
Mexican.
for like. Hang on, between us, I also financed that car like for 14 years or some shit like that.
Wow, you knew Evan back then? You knew Evan back then?
No, I did not. Ferrari offered some crazy, so that's how I was able to afford that Ferrari. That's the Ferrari that
started it all.
Started it all.
I know, but I hated it. It was so loud.
Was that your least favorite car that he owned?
Yes, that was definitely one of my least favorite cars that he's owned.
Anything else comes to mind?
There's been
clearly.
so many, obviously, over 9 years.
What about?
It's not the car that I hated necessarily. This car,
Was the owner?
but it was
The owner?
it was the wrap.
Yes, that's the next thing that I was gonna get into.
Wait, the
The
Ferrari?
Lamborghini. I hated it.
Wait,
Which one?
Was it
the unicorn jizz of Venador.
Yeah, was it the unicorn?
Yes, it looked like Transformers. Every time I got out of the house, I was like, it's coming alive. It's going to attack us. I felt so douchey in it, too. Like, when you said Lamborghini owners are typically douchey, like, 100%.
You see what I'm saying?
I wanted to die every time we drove around in it. Like, it was just so loud.
Thanks, babe. Yeah, it was. We also put an exhaust in it.
You did it because of the neighbors, but it was just...
You used to terrorize your neighbors?
Yes.
No, that's
Yes.
not true. That's not true. I'm not gonna get into that. No, that's not true.
That was, again, it wasn't necessarily the Lamborghini, but it was the wrap.
What about the favorite car that we've ever had?
Well,
That you've ever had?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's not one, I would say if there's three, the SLS Black Series.
Oh, the yellow
car.
one?
That was,
Yeah.
I loved that car.
That was the solar beam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That
That
car
was an
was so
incredible
beautiful.
spec.
That was so beautiful. Obviously, the 918 was,
Insane.
Up
The
there.
God rest
green
her
one,
soul.
right?
God
Yeah.
rest her soul.
Yeah.
and I'd have to say the Huayra, the Pagani.
Yeah.
Mainly also just the experience, like going to Modena, speccing the car, even though, contrary to belief, a lot of people thought I was miserable in that video. We were there 12 hours. But just the whole process of how they build the car, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, you've never seen that
It's
before.
so beautiful.
Absolutely.
It's so, just the way the factory was and seeing everything, that was quite like an
Yeah.
experience. And the car was, it was it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what is your least favorite thing about me? The commentary?
I would say the little squirrel piles.
The squirrel pile?
Sure.
They're the end of me.
For sure.
How long until he's finished with his autobiography?
Oh my God.
What about my autobiography?
His memoir, you mean?
His memoir, yeah, I'm
His
sorry.
memoir. I think he's been working on it.
What's my memoir, babe?
It's, I don't know, honestly. Like, just your thoughts.
She
your-
calls my memoir, so whenever I'm in bed, I get on my computer and I just type aggressively.
Hang on. This is at night when I'm sleeping and you just hear aggressive typing. So I always ask him if he's writing his
You're
memoir.
writing, wait, you are writing a memoir?
I am not writing a memoir. There's nothing to write about. I don't even remember.
That'd be the
that is
worst
true.
memoir ever.
It'll be 2 pages. I remember I was born in Mexico. At some point, I got to the U.S. Period. What is your favorite thing about me? Say something positive, maybe.
You always make me laugh.
Good. You always make me laugh, too.
At least one small good thing.
Yeah.
That is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing.
Belen's
Does he snore or drool in bed?
No, he's very clean.
Wow, very clean in bed. Great.
Yeah.
All right, well done, well done.
She's also not saying, but very good, too.
I've also
On the
heard
way I
rumors-
first-
No, please.
She just went like this.
No, we don't want to know. Yeah,
Whoa, hey,
Just went like this.
Hey,
Balboni line.
Yeah, that's our Balboni line, please.
The other thing that I've heard before is that he likes to bring like a lot of snacks and drinks and
All right,
Oh my God.
time for another
What?
segment.
Yes. Yes.
Snacks and drinks in bed?
Snacks. Please, he gets breakfast in bed every morning.
That's right. I got the best wife in the world.
What?
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Wow.
Thank you, baby, for that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
What you have this morning?
Yogurt with bananas and honey
granola.
and granola.
Well done. Well done.
That's how we roll in this house, people.
Thank you.
Well, there's
thank
going to be new rules at the new house.
There's no new rules in no new house.
Hey. But Belen, on a serious note, thank
Tell
you
me.
so much for always taking care of us.
Yeah, thank you,
Yes,
babe.
You're
you always
welcome.
take care of us.
I have
you really
not.
do.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You've changed our lives,
You literally, you have. You have.
You're welcome.
making them better and actually functional. So thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
And
Is
we
there-
cannot wait to get to the new house.
I know.
Cannot wait.
I know.
Cannot wait.
It's been a nightmare.
Especially because you guys are going to be outside of the house. So that's really...
What's gonna be the policy for to go in the house?
Anyone can
Do
just
we need
go
like
in.
a pass? Do
No
we need
point.
like a code?
No. Belen will be very
We'll
happy to
see
have us
about
all
that.
screaming.
I'm
inside.
going to make it all keypad, just my thumb.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get permission to go into the house.
100%.
Well,
there anything else you wanna roast me on?
think I have your house. I think I have the house keys and the clicker instead of you.
100%. Since you've lost a credit card 9 times. So
all right.
everything now is for Freddie.
All right, this has been great.
That's it. I think we've pretty much exposed him as much as we could without actually crossing a Balboni line.
Oh, I thought we were like exposing him because we brought the
I mean,
little
there's
lens. We brought
definitely-
the macro lens, right?
There's definitely more.
Hey, put it away. Put it away. Hey, hey,
There's
hey.
way more exposing to be done.
Oh no, we don't need more exposing.
We'll definitely bring you back to do this again.
Yeah, we're reoccurring.
Amazing having you, Belen.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
me. This was fun.
No, thank you, baby.
And
Thank
thank you
you.
for everything, Belen. Thank
You're
you.
And
welcome.
congratulations on Salomondrin by Belen.
Thank you. I
Congratulations.
Can't
It's
wait.
very
gonna be
proud of you,
Thank
baby.
a couple more weeks.
Just a
more
couple
leaps.
more weeks. Farshad is.
Before it comes out.
I-
Farsha is already ripping the benefits of it.
You want to see?
We do. I do
I'll
wanna see
show
an
you.
update.
People can't see, but I'll show you, Belen. How I'm doing. Look at this. Look how I'm doing.
Look at
You're killing it.
So Farsha's
Killing
right
the
now,
game.
for those who are just enjoying this and listening,
Killing the game.
he's just showing Belen all of his Bumble attempts.
Amazing.
Actually, there's a lot of them.
There's a lot. I'm
A
killing.
lot of requests. Good for you, Farsha.
Between Pedro and I,
Oh, and oh my God! If you guys can get a hold of Pedro to
he's
Redo
hit.
your Bumble
revitalize your
Bumble profile.
social
He's
dating
hit.
apps.
Look.
He's amazing, like amazing.
Look, you just got to pay attention to what a woman wants and go for it.
That is
He's
ridiculous.
simple. He's dumbing this down. He like puts in thought and philosophies and.
I'm pretty sure there's an algorithm.
And my wife is a romantic as well. So like I pay attention to her, the things that she likes and things that she wants, and I absorb it. And I have a very, 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 very good memory, unlike you two.
see what
So
he's
I'm
doing
able to
right now,
remember
right?
these things.
It's a backhand show off.
But that's why I'm here.
I'm
is to help
surrounded.
you guys.
I am so lucky
here to
to be
help you
surrounded
guys.
by you guys. I get to witness love between.
Here we go.
Belen and
Oh, my
Alejandro.
Oh God,
I get-
Valentine's Day's on Tuesday. I can't wait.
Oh man.
no.
Farshad,
boy.
Farshad, close down your Bumble and
Oh,
then
yeah.
open it back up after Valentine's.
Yeah. I want nothing to do on Valentine's Day.
So, Belen, thank you again. Thank you so much. We're
Thank
going to bring you
you.
back on this on another episode to expose Alejandro a little bit more. Uh,
Can't wait.
but we're going to jump into the next topic, and we were going to hop into On the Verge of Depreciation.
Oh boy, what's on the verge of depreciation? Right now, there's a lot of cars on the verge of depreciation. I think there's a full sector on the verge of depreciation, but I see that you have a note there.
Yeah, I have a note. This is my guess. I think the first car that's on the verge of depreciation is the Ford GT,
You're talking about the new one.
the
that's coming
new
out.
Ford GT.
Whoa, this is a very controversial subject.
Why?
Pedro, be careful.
I think with the performance numbers that it put out, I think with the way that the market is reacting, where there's so many supercars that are coming out, this one in particular just isn't going to hold the mark. They're going to continue doing production on it. It's not going to be limited numbers. It's going to take a huge hit, and I think that it's going to be very similar. And as much as I love the way that it looks stylish and the way that it seems to feel and the way that Ford has marketed it, I just don't think that it's going to live up to the hype. And as soon as it starts landing in people's driveways, people are going to understand and know that it's not the one to go with.
You know what the best indicator for that will be? eBay. eBay single-handedly killed the i8 when it came out. You would call every dealer and they were like, nope, we really can't give you one. But you would go on eBay and there was 39 cars. I think that's on the verge of the pre-depreciation. I think right now what's on the verge of depreciation for real are the new, like the old hypercars.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That
Because
does,
there's a new
absolutely.
wave of hypercars coming out so fast. Last time hypercars came out there was a 10-year gap almost. And now you're just giving them to me like 3 years later? What the fuck?
Yeah.
And can I add to that?
Yeah.
These hypercars,
Out of warranty.
they're coming out of warranty soon.
Ooh.
You want to be caught slipping with an out of warranty hypercar.
Oh,
You
hell
do not
no.
want to be slipping
Oh,
on that.
hell
Oh
no.
my
You
lord.
Just Ferrari. Ferrari's known, at least the LaFerrari, a couple of people that I know had battery problems with theirs when it got there, right? And they just mentioned because, yeah, the warranty took care of them. They had to fight it a little bit, but definitely warranty took care of it. But some of them were like, it can be like a small thing between $60,000 or you can go up to $240,000 depending on how deep the problem is.
Wow.
That's a hard one to swallow, right?
So are you saying any car with a battery assist?
I don't
and
know.
It costs more than $1 million on a Verge of Depreciation.
You don't know what? It's just too early in that technology to see how they're going to deal with it in the future. You never know, and you don't know what companies are going to do what. At least, I don't know, like who's providing their batteries because you know they're not building them. Are those companies going to last? Are those companies doing the right thing? There's so many different moving parts to the equation of these cars. And mind you, the new generation of hypercars is definitely coming out with batteries too. The thing is, you don't want to be caught with one of these cars belonging to you while it's off warranty.
And the new ones have come out.
Unless you have all the money in the world. If you're like a douche nozzle like myself, you do not want to get caught.
But there's so many car companies though that are offering the extended warranties, the 7-9 years.
those
Buy.
Now, what I'm curious in is, are these companies going to start offering like pre-owned, bring it in PPI, and then you can purchase
CPO
a warranty?
918.
You know what? I think they will because Bugatti already did it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Bugatti, if you buy a used Bugatti, they'll be like, "Hey, you pay me 50,000 euros." I think it was something like that, and you have a full year covered.
That's
the best deal in the world.
That's worth it, right?
Oh,
on a Bugatti, that's
No. But if you bought a 918 2 years from now, out of warranty, and they offered you some sort of warranty to help cover the services if anything happens, what would that number be to make it worth it?
40 grand.
40 grand. And that would cover a year? Oh god.
That's my guess. That's my guess. Just being very clear, that's my guess. On a Ferrari, I can't even imagine. I mean, the Enzo clutch, literally, the Enzo's clutch doubled in price from one day to the next.
like the hardware it costs to buy, or the how much it costs?
If you had to replace your clutch in your Enzo, right, now that it's out of warranty, one day it literally went double.
Wow.
Speaking of one day I would love to let everyone know about our Bugatti oil change idea.
Oh,
later for another time.
that's a business of its own.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great one. The hypercars, you're right. Those are definitely on the verge.
I am terrified
They're
to see
definitely
what's
on the
going to
verge.
happen. Yeah, and you also see the price coming down from where they were not even a year ago. But you know, there was a LaFerrari selling for $4 million. Now they're selling for 3.5, 3.4. It's come down in Europe, especially. Also, there's another factor we have to carry in here. All the cars that left the U.S., right, that were purchased by Europeans, you can bring back, and the euro, in my guess, is going to take a massive shit this year. All of the European Union is, just don't want to get too much into it. There's a lot of problems. Not a lot of people seem to think that they should stay within the euro, or at least the EU. And obviously, why would they keep their money be something that they don't own, right? So they cannot make enough money for their own country. They have to ask for permission. So when the euro takes a shit, it'll be a good time to buy those cars.
That's exciting. So when it does, we'll be able to do a European delivery and also pick up a hypercar at the same time.
and get an extended warranty.
That's exactly. That sounds good.
So the hypercars and the euro, they're both on the verge of depreciation.
On the verge of depreciation. Nailed it. The last thing that I want to talk about before we go is just a quick update on the Tesla trunk or the Tesla Frunk. It's obviously picked up all across. We're on Autoblog, Engadget, Jalopnik.
So my wife, half Italian, half Spanish.
Hey.
My father-in-law, he's Spanish. So he was on reading a magazine, a Spanish magazine, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And he sent it to Belen. It's like, "You guys are in a magazine
not
in
in a
Spain."
magazine, you mean
in a blog, obviously.
Yeah. I was like, "Wow, they printed that quick."
That's the quickest print job I've ever.
No, but basically, people are picking up because it's not a huge security problem, but it is something that people need to be aware of. People need to be aware that you can't just put your things in the trunk because you could lose them. Because this is exposed, and it's exposed for good reason.
Of course, it's not meant to be a bad thing. It was just like it's also public knowledge, by the way. A lot of people were like, we all knew this. It's been said
We're
before.
just letting people know what's going on over here.
Just exactly, because like myself, I had no idea that could be the case. And again, it's not about the fact that your alarm will go off and you'll see it, whatever. Yep. It's good that it appears on the app.
Oh, question?
It appears on the app.
It did appear on
the
app. Does it say trunk was opened?
Yep.
That's great.
It tells you the trunk. But if you're at a restaurant, say you don't have your phone, you don't have service, alarm goes off, you come out, the trunk's like the car looks perfectly fine, you're never gonna second guess the fact that someone took shit from your trunk.
But the problem is when the alarm goes off, no one gives a shit anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Then you're gonna come out and just go like this, like, oh, my car's alarm was just going off. Where the valet is gonna do that.
Yeah, but either way, like it's there for good reason. Just to update people on why it's there. It's so that in case there's an accident or emergency or something, and fire and paramedics need to get into the car, they can pull that, pop the frunk, and then cut the battery so that there's not any electrical problems.
So it's right. It's right to be there. It's just be aware.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we do not have enough time left in today's podcast to do Farshad's headlines.
Oh, perfect. So all the work I did.
So all the work that you did this morning, we're gonna have to roll it over to next week.
I hope everyone can hear this.
That's him just shredding his pieces of paper.
That was
I'm so sorry,
That was
Farshad.
the last 8 minutes this morning as I procrastinated right before we left.
I'm so sorry, Farshad.
It's all
So
good.
once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. Like always, there's many ways to connect with us, one being through Salomondrin.com. The memberships on the site allow us to continue to do this show and provide you with fun, ridiculous, and sometimes informative content. Thanks so much for all the amazing topic suggestions and ideas that you sent to us. It's incredible to read all of the emails and all of the notes on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you for being dedicated and loyal listeners and supporters, so please don't forget to follow us on all of those social media channels, and you can also email us at hititpedro@gmail.com. Thanks again, guys. I'm Pedro, that's Belen, that's Farshad, and you guys all know Alejandro. See you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.